what is the importance of land title as it relates to property, and why is that? What aspect of the title document involves a survey and is affected by it?
All right. Okay. Remember, ownership of property, uh, you're looking at acreage. I
Right.
may own 5,000 square feet. I may own 15. I may own an acre. The title that you have tells you how much you own. It also describes the shape of the property that you own, and that is where a survey plan comes in. Because if you read it, if you read the second schedule of a deed, you get bounded to the north by Fred, bounded to the south by a road, bounded to the east west. But it doesn't tell you how far how far east or how far west, how far north, how far south. The survey plan that is attached to the deed is what gives that description, gives that pictorial description of what the deed is saying. And that is why it's critical that you have a survey plan attached to your deed. Right?
Wow.
Again, which leads to a lot of problems in Trinidad because a lot of deeds don't have plans.
Oh my goodness. Mr. Lawrence, you're hitting some key points this evening. And me, I call myself, a conveyancing nerd, my glee this evening to discuss these things. Because for over 13 years of this practice, I am absolutely tired of people not understanding the importance of much of what you said and the reason why it causes problems in property law. One of the things I wanted to highlight, you mentioned a very important, and I know that we have lots of young attorneys here, a lot of young surveyors that attend these webinars, and I'm hoping that you guys can please listen to this information so that you can contribute to the improvement of the service and the practice that we have locally, because we have some problems. Many clients seem to believe that the schedule part of their title document, whether that title be governed under the RPO, right, or the title is governed under the common law and they have a deed. Many of them seem not to understand the importance of the schedule section of their title document that describes the parcel to which their title refers.
Correct.
Mr. Lawrence, is it possible for an attorney at law or a landowner to use a measuring tape like that used by construction workers or so in order to measure, outline, and describe the scheduled portion of the deed? Give me your thoughts on that. I'll give
The
you my
short answer is no. Okay.
No.
The short answer is no. The reason it's no is that remember a survey. These are legal documents. The schedule describes what the land's supposed to be. The survey,
Right.
as I said, gives a pictorial representation of that. Now, in a survey plan, if you look at a survey plan, you'll see at the top right-hand corner what we'll call a grid note. All surveys are done in reference to north. Now, I wouldn't bore you all in the nerd details of why there are different types of north in surveying. That's a whole 3-4 hours of discussion. But so if you pull a tape, remember, if you look at the survey plan, you'll see a bearing and a distance. Yes, you can pull a tape and get a distance, but are you pulling the tape in the right direction in relation to north? And that is that is what a lot of people get confused with. You'll say, okay, I have a 5,000 square foot, it's 50 by 100. You go down the road, by Bag and Sings, you buy a 50-meter tape, or say a 50-foot tape, because 50 by 100 is feet. You buy a 50-foot tape, you stand up on one end of your corner post, you pull 50 feet. I'm correct. But if the bearing is not 90 degrees by 180 degrees, and you have a it's not a rectangle, but it's a parallelogram, your goose is cooked.
Wow.
because you're going to be pulling in the wrong direction and you're going to say, this is my property, build your fence and your neighbor's land. And this
So
also
guys,
goes for contractors.
so guys, long and short, you cannot build your fence without a survey plan. You should not.
Should not, and it is costly. A lot of people don't like to do it, but you should really have a surveyor there to lay out your fence before the contractor builds.
Love
Because
it.
going back to the imaginary line,
Uh-huh.
your wall or fence should not cross that imaginary line into your neighbor's property. And a lot of people will build their wall saying the boundary line is mine and the width of the brick is on the neighbor's property, so the neighbor loses 6 inches along that property line because the contractor built it on the boundary line, but he built it on the wrong side of the boundary line.
Wow. So I really am enjoying this topic. I love it. I love it. I hope that I see that you are passionate about it and I am passionate about it because we know the problems it causes in real life and we know what happens when we are called in to try to fix it. So hopefully this evening, when we're having this discussion, it can contribute to persons locally stopping these sort of actions, behaviors, and practices so as to decrease the occurrences of these matters happening locally. And for our attendees, remind you, feel free to add your comments, questions, and concerns at some point during the seminar. Address these questions and we will have Mr. Lawrence answer them. Now, Mr. Lawrence, you mentioned something there a while ago about, one neighbor being deprived 6 feet to one side and things being built on the wrong edge, etc. How does the absence of survey assistance or the absence of using a surveyor or survey services, how much does that contribute to the problem of encroachment? And how much can it contribute to the absence of the same?
All right. Okay. Usually, now there are very many good contractors out there, all right? But you'll have you can't build your fence without a surveyor. It's not that it cannot be done. But the person has to be very particular in when he's pulling the fence. I'm seeing a question there where somebody asks about if somebody builds a chain link and then they build somebody neighbor then builds a wall next to the chain link. You see, the first thing is that is the chain link exactly on the boundary line? Most contractors will pull what we call these pieces of nylon end to end to get a straight.
Nylon, yes.
That is usually pretty decent once they build the wall on the inside of that nylon.
Right.
Right?
But your land have to have a survey plan in the first place.
Correct.
Because if your land title don't even have your boundaries, you need a survey plan. So what we're asking persons, because many of you also have title or want to create new title and trying to duck a surveyor because they don't want to spend that money.
Yeah.
You need, especially if you are excising a smaller piece of land from a larger one. How critical, Mr. Lawrence, is it to have survey plans to illustrate that? And if it's not present, what can be the consequences?
All right. Now that opens up a different kind of worms when you're talking about excision of land from a larger parcel. Remember, the laws that respect to land in Trinidad are governed by town and country planning and town and country planning policy. Now, before you look at subdividing land, you first have to look at the policy of the area and then whether the lands could be subdivided. A lot of things, okay. Let me backtrack a little. To answer your question, you should not have any excision of land without a survey plan to demarcate the excise piece within the larger parcel. So you
Right.
know how to excise in the future other parcels from this larger parcel.
Right.
Right?
And for 1 minute,
But you
for the
should
purpose
not
of
excise. Sorry?
the purpose of the non-professionals among us,
Mhm.
I don't want to get them lost. When we say excise land, we really mean cut out a smaller piece of land from a bigger one. So when we
Yeah.
use the word excise land, we mean pull out let's say we have 10 acres and we want to cut up the 10 acres into lots, and we
Mhm.
want to sell one lot, and we want each lot to have their own deed. Each lot have to get their own survey plan showing
Yes.
where we cut the lot out of for that deed. Yeah?
Correct. That's
Good.
correct because you as a lawyer will then need in your second schedule to describe that one lot. And if there's no survey plan, you can't describe it.
Correct.